Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you're listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by littleshaman.org. That's me, the Little Shaman. Today I wanted to talk to you about protecting yourself from narcissists. It's usually recommended to just stay away from narcissistic people when they've been identified in your life, but sometimes this is not possible, and sometimes they can be hard to identify, even for trained professionals. Because of that, it's best to learn how to protect yourself from toxic people in general. Many people spend a large amount of time trying to figure out if the person they're dealing with is a narcissist or not. The truth is, it doesn't really matter what they are if they're toxic and abusive. Most people want to know if someone is narcissistic or not because if the person is a narcissist, they feel like they can let go of the idea that the person will change and that will help them move on. However, no one has to change for somebody else, and most people won't, whether they're a narcissist or not. Staying in an unhealthy or unhappy relationship, hoping the other person will change, is toxic, dangerous, and unhealthy. People often say, but I love this person. Sometimes love just isn't enough. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean you can live with them or have them in your life. Sometimes you have to love yourself more. That's where boundaries come in. Boundaries are how you protect yourself from toxic people, including narcissists. Sometimes people say things like, boundaries don't work. People just disrespect my boundaries anyway. This usually comes from a misunderstanding of how boundaries are supposed to work. Boundaries are not agreements that you make with other people. They are not something that other people need to agree to. They're not negotiations. Boundaries are your way of saying, this is how it is. This is what I will accept. This is what I will not accept. When boundaries are in place and they're enforced correctly, red flags are not red flags anymore. They become deal breakers. This means that when someone ignores your boundaries or displays behavior that you find inappropriate, rude, disrespectful, or unpleasant, you walk away. That is how boundaries are properly enforced. Someone who disrespects you does not get to be in your life. If you won't do that, if you won't enforce boundaries properly, then no, they don't work. Now, sometimes people say, and it's true, that narcissists purposely disrespect people's boundaries. They do that. That's one reason they're considered toxic and abusive. Now, it would be great if they would respect other people's boundaries and simply accept when they're asked to do so, but generally they don't do that. They will keep pushing in one way or another. That's why it's up to you to respect your boundaries. If you don't, nobody else will. You have to teach people that you mean what you say and that you respect yourself enough not to put up with being treated badly. Again, red flags become not just red flags, they are deal breakers. If you tell someone that you don't like the way they're treating you and they don't honor that, what more really needs to be said? Obviously, they either don't care or they're incapable of treating you the way that you would like to be treated. You can either accept and allow that in your life or not. If someone has strong boundaries, they will not allow that. Let's say you meet a new friend at work, and after getting better acquainted, you find out that this person says things to you that you don't really like. Maybe they make jokes about your weight, or maybe they make comments about your appearance or something like that. Now, in some friendships, people are okay with this kind of banter back and forth, but for illustrative purposes, let's say that you're not okay with that and you don't like it. If you have strong boundaries, you might say to this person, I really don't like when you say things like that. A person who respects your boundaries, who respects you, would probably reply with something along the lines of, oh, I was just joking around. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it made you uncomfortable. I'm not going to do that again. And then they wouldn't do it again. If someone does not respect you or your boundaries, they would probably say all the things we're already so familiar with. Oh, geez, you're too sensitive. Take a joke. You need to grow up. Wow, you're such a baby. That's so rude. People who have strong boundaries would then walk away from this person and the relationship in this situation because this person has demonstrated that they don't respect or care about other people's feelings. They're comfortable with disrespecting other people, and someone who has strong boundaries and good self-respect doesn't want to be around somebody like that. It may be that you don't want to walk away from the friendship. That's understandable. But if someone doesn't care enough to respect you or your feelings, is it a real friendship anyway? Part of creating boundaries is learning how to tell what is a healthy relationship and what is not. If someone disrespects you and they don't care that they disrespect you, they're not your friend, period. You have to decide that you deserve better than that. This is how you can use boundaries to prevent yourself from becoming entangled in relationships that are toxic or unhealthy. When boundaries are used correctly, the relationship is over before you become too enmeshed to easily get out of it. Boundaries enable you to heed the warnings and heed the red flags. For example, if you go out on a date with a new person and the things they tell you just don't add up, or they're really nasty to the waiter, or they spend the entire time talking about an ex, these are red flags. These are the things that cause you to get that feeling that says, hey, something's not right here. In most cases, hindsight shows us that our feelings were correct. Something was wrong with the situation or the person. We just didn't listen to ourselves. Boundaries are how you respect yourself and your feelings. When something is toxic, inappropriate, unreasonable, or unfair, boundaries enable you to walk away. Sometimes people ask how they will know if things are toxic, inappropriate, unreasonable, or unfair. They believe they don't know how to tell what these things are. The truth is, you do know. You've just been conditioned probably to believe it's okay for things not to be okay for you as long as they're okay for other people. This is not the truth. Your feelings, needs, truths, and boundaries are just as important as everybody else's feelings, needs, truths, and boundaries. If someone else's need infringes on your own, that's not okay. For example, if someone needs a ride to work but you're really sick, it's okay for you to say, hey man, I can't drive you to work tomorrow, I don't feel good at all. If they have a problem with that, that's okay. They're entitled to their feelings and their opinions, and their problem is not your problem. Your problem is your problem, and you need to take care of it. In this way, boundaries help people take care of themselves. They're how we show respect to ourselves, and because of that, they're very important. People often fear that others will get angry at them if they create or enforce boundaries, and they might, and that's okay. It's okay if people get angry. Their anger is their responsibility. Respecting yourself is your responsibility. It's important, too, not to get caught up in defending your boundaries. You don't need to do that. You do not owe anybody an explanation for why you're not engaging in a toxic situation. And many times people who try to goad you into defending are trying to argue or negotiate you out of your position. Remember, boundaries are not agreements that you make with people. People do not have to agree with your boundaries or with how you enforce them. They don't have to like it. It doesn't matter how they feel about it, to be perfectly frank. It's your life, it's your safety, it's your happiness. Sometimes to protect yourself, you have to do things that other people don't like. Now, some example of core boundaries include, it's not my job to fix other people. It's okay if other people get angry. It's okay to say no. It's not my job to take responsibility for other people. I don't have to anticipate the needs of other people. It is my job to make myself happy. Nobody has to agree with me. I have a right to my own feelings, and I am enough. How these core boundaries are put into place in your life can vary, but generally it involves not engaging in things that violate them. So, for example, if someone says you're supposed to make them happy, you would let that person know that you're not responsible for making them happy. If they insist that you are, or they abuse you because you don't, you would then leave that situation or that relationship because that expectation violates your boundaries, and so does their treatment of you. If someone says, you should have known that I'd need that, or I'd want that, or how I would feel, then you can say to them, no, I'm not required to anticipate or meet your needs, and I'm not responsible for you. Doing this consistently will weed out the narcissists in your life as well as the other toxic people, because someone who's not willing to set themselves on fire to keep other people warm is of no interest to them. In this way, you learn who wants a relationship and who just wants to use you. Well-meaning people who love you may violate your boundaries from time to time as well, but the difference is that when you tell them that they have done so, they'll care enough to stop. The world is full of people who will love you and respect you. But if you accept disrespectful, inappropriate, unreasonable, unfair, or abusive behavior in your life and spend your time with those who don't treat you as though you're valued, you're never going to find them. If you don't learn to love and respect yourself, then even if you do find them, you might never recognize them. I hope this clears a few things up for you. As always, I look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions, so please keep those coming. I take appointments online, over the phone, through text, and through email. So if you're interested in speaking with me, you can visit littleshaman.org and click the book an appointment tab to go ahead and do that. Or you can use the link that's available in the information section of this video below. I also want to let everybody know that I have created a monthly workshop about how to create boundaries, and it goes on once a month. There are still spots available for this month, but there are not many. So if you're interested in signing up for that or for any of the future months, you can do that at littleshaman.org as well. We're also doing a raffle once a month to choose somebody who wins an appointment with me. So if you're interested in entering that, you can also find that information on littleshaman.org. I look forward to speaking with you. You've been listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by littleshaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. May the Great Spirit bless you and have a wonderful day.